Hey friends, happy Friday! It's Ellen. I'm from Wild Birds Unlimited in Joliet, and we go Friday on live on Fridays to tell you what's new, what's happening in the store, but what's also happening out in nature. So today we're going to talk all about that. We're going to talk a little bit about molting and how we can help our birds during that vigorous season of molting. Um, but first, I want to talk about our upcoming events because we do have quite a few things that are happening this weekend. Tomorrow from 10 to 11:30, we have Frank Ibera coming. He is a local beekeeper, a honey beekeeper, but he is also a master gardener. He has a huge he does a lot of work with our local Illinois Audubon Society, and he does a lot of work with Medawin. So he's an all-around great guy, does a lot for nature and a lot for conservation, but and a lot for birds. Let me tell you, he does a lot for birds, but he also has a big passion for gardening and bees. So he will be bringing bees in his little suitcase for demonstration purposes. But he'll also talk about, the hobby of beekeeping and comparative to our native bees. And of course, he'll give you tips and tricks on how to help both of those important insects out. Right after Frank's presentation, we will be doing round 2 of rock painting art in the garden. If you would like to come by, kids, adults, it does not matter. It's a fun for all. So that rock painting goes until, I want to say 3. I think 3 p.m. we offer rock painting here at the store. It's going to be outside, so you just go outside and do your little art, and then you can either take one home or leave one here. Choice is up to you. It's just a fun activity to be outside and enjoying the birds in our side garden, but also taking that little bit of nature back home with you. So fun activities. The next weekend we have an in-store presentation. It's called Clean and Simple Bird Feeding. This presentation is going to give you tips and tricks on how to use the right combination of food and feeders to make an easy cleaning feeding hobby. So whether you have been feeding birds for many, many years or are just starting out, this presentation is directed for both of you guys. So it's going to really enhance your hobby. It may streamline it a little bit for you. So if you have countless of feeders, which can be great, it can be awesome to have a lot of many feeders, but sometimes we get a little bit overwhelmed and maybe we need to scope it down. Maybe you're in an area where it's kind of frowned upon to feed. Some HOAs are a little bit particular when it comes to bird feeding, and these tips will give you the tools you need to one, make it a clean, simple, mess-free feeding station so that we're not getting dinged by our HOAs and other groups that where you're living in the neighborhood that may frown on feeding a little bit, and they'll give you the tools and the education to go to them to make your case and to say how much you're enjoying bird feeding and how many benefits it is to you and the birds, but also how it can be a clean and simple hobby that anyone can do. So definitely come by for that. I highly recommend you call the store to reserve your seat. It will be limited seating, but everyone is welcome to come. We just have only so many seats available, but I highly recommend you stop by and check it out and hear it out. All of our upcoming events are on our website. They're also on Facebook, so be sure you go check them out to see what's happening soon. Okay, let's talk about some new things that have come in. Oop, excuse me. First one I want to show you is our new nail files. I'm so excited. We have a whole bunch of them, and they're all bird themed. Absolutely beautiful. I'm just going to take out a couple just to show you, but they are absolutely stunning. Beautiful pictures. They are double-sided, and they're nice and thick. Have those nice, good emery boards here. Pretty much look at the woodpeckers. Check that one out. I love it. It even has the pileated right here. So cool. Yes, there is hummingbirds for all you hummingbird lovers. So definitely come by the store. Check out our new nail files. They're here right at the counter. Yes, I'm at the counter right here. And if you haven't noticed, we have a new display. And that is where the nail files live now. So you can come and check that out when you are in this weekend or the next time you come by the store. Check it out, okay? The other thing that we've gotten in that is new is we have some new optics. So we carry Vanguard brand optics. It's a really, really good brand. It's really a top competitor of Vortex if you are knowledgeable about optics. But we have now 4 varieties of really nice optics. Yes, we have the pocket-sized ones that are grab and go, good for the car, but the ones that I'm going to be showing you tonight are a little bit more advanced. They're a real pair of binoculars, and I'm going to kind of give you the rundown of what they're best for and what makes them really great. And starting off, I want to start off with our Vesta line. And all of these binoculars that I'm showing you come in 2 different types. They come in an 8 by 42 or a 10 by 42. So it's the same. It's roughly the same, but a little bit different. It has to do with how magnified the image that you're seeing it in. But the binoculars themselves have their own different benefits and different lenses and things in them that make them a little bit different. So the bottom tiered starter off binoculars are our Vesta line. These are great for beginners, great for casual birding. They are super, super low weight, which is really nice. And it has really good clarity. So great starter pair. Definitely come and check them out. If you haven't been fitted for binoculars, I highly recommend you come in the store and let us fit you for binoculars, because it's not something that I would recommend to just order off of online. It's something that you need to come in and physically hold them, physically use them, and see how they will work for you and how you want to use them, right? Because different binoculars are going to weigh different weights. You may find that you in fact do like 8s versus 10s. There's a lot of different things that go into binoculars, so I highly recommend you come in and get fitted for your binoculars, all right? The next step up from Vesta is our the VEO ED line. Okay, so this is the next step up. This is great for birding on the go and hiking. So this would be a great pair that I would recommend for, again, maybe a beginner that wants a little bit more in their binoculars, because this one is going to be a bit more clear than our Vesta, okay? This one's going to be a little bit clearer, a little bit brighter. It's still light, still easy to hold. It has... it's still going to be that great pair for you, but it's just going to be a little bit better in the image that you receive. Okay, the next one from there is going to be our VEO HD line. Okay, so the big difference between these and the ED line is that these guys are good for all around birding, hiking, outdoor use. They are a little bit heavier, okay? So I would say this is about a medium weight, but I'm telling you, it's super clear, super bright. It's a really good choice for durability and comfort of ease of use. Plus, you're not going to compromise on clarity and brightness. So definitely come check out the HDs here. And then the very last one is going to be our top of the line type of binoculars. Trust me, this is on Santa's list for me to bring me this year for sure. I already wrote him my letter. But the big difference between the HD4s and the regular HDs is that these have a crystal clear, super bright, super sharp image. Okay, this is going to be, and especially in low light conditions. It's really important because not all binoculars are going to feature the same things, and the amount of light that that it takes in is going to output you that image in either clear or maybe a little bit dull because it's not enough light. This, no matter what lighting, whether it's poor lighting or not, you're going to have that crystal clear image. That I would say that the weight is a little bit heavier than the regular HDs in comparison. Just a slightly heavier binocular, but it feels sturdy and it feels so nice, guys. It's so nice. Super tough, and it's definitely for those serious bird watchers, the serious nature people, the people that want to be outdoors 24/7. These are the binoculars for you guys. Absolutely. I highly recommend the HD4s for watching at your feeders, because I'm telling you, you are going to get the cleanest, clearest, be able to see every feather on that bird, see exactly how that bird is molting. These are your guys, all right? But I highly recommend that you come in and get fitted for your optics so that you are getting set up with the best possible way to start. Many times binoculars are not, a $5 pair and it's going to do you really good. It's not like that. And I highly recommend that you do not buy them online, because it's something that you need to be fitted for. Each of your eyes are different, and you are different than your partner, a family member. You are different. So it's fun and fine if you have someone that's giving you a free pair of binoculars as a starter pair. But if you really want to take up your bird watching a notch, I highly recommend you come in and get fitted. Okay? All right, let's get to it. Let's talk about those feathers that you're seeing at your feeders. Let's talk a little bit about molting, because molting, while we have been talking about it since July, we've been talking about molting, but let's go kind of do a deep dive on molting. I think that's a good thing that's happening, because I've been getting a lot of questions and a lot of images sent to me, and these aren't the images that they're sending me, but I'm going to show you a couple pictures today. But I am getting pictures of birds sent to me, and people are asking, is this bird sick? What's happening with this bird? And I'm going to tell you that if you see some of these birds like this, or perhaps like that, or even start to look a little bit like that, you are witnessing molting. All right, what is molting? It is the process of birds replacing feathers. That's bottom line what it is. Peak for molting of feeder songbirds typically happens between July and September. There's only a couple birds that finish out molting into October, like our downy woodpeckers, and I believe our mourning doves, and I think eastern bluebirds too are late molters. Everyone else has either started already or is going to start this month. And that process takes at least 4 weeks, but it can take as long as 8 weeks. And molting can happen in a couple different ways. Sometimes it is a full molt. Sometimes it's a partial, right? When it is a full molt, we're talking body feathers, tail feathers, wing feathers, everything is being replaced. Oftentimes it's not all at once. Like, you will not see a completely naked bird out there, but you will see some strange characters, okay? And sometimes it's not even obvious that they're doing it, because it's one feather here on this wing, one feather here on this wing, and that process can be extended for several weeks. But the process nonetheless happens. And particularly our goldfinches, who are about to start their nesting season right after their molting season, right after nesting season. And that's typical with birds. Most of our birds do their molt right after nesting season. And the reason why they're not molting in the same time as nesting season is that both nesting season and molting season are two high energy intensive seasons. And they don't want to be doing both of them at the same time, because it would leave them really vulnerable, and they need a lot of nutrition in both those seasons. So it's like pulling all the resources for two really big events which is very difficult. So that's why they usually wait until after nesting season to start molting. Okay, now goldfinches are interesting because they are some of the few birds that actually do 2 molts a year. They do that, when, for example, a partial molt in the spring where they're just essentially molting their body feathers, but in the fall they're doing a full molt, right? They're doing the body, they're doing tail, wing, all of it is getting changed into a different coloration. That process, what molting is replacing feathers, and feathers are made almost solely of proteins. And to help them with that process, we need to replace them nutritionally. So if we can add more proteins, more fats to their diet, you're going to give your birds a better chance and make molting a really simple, easy task that probably shortens it up really quick because you're providing everything that they need. For example, proteins are helping to build strong feathers. Excuse me. And the strong feathers for flight, strong feathers to help insulate them. Fats, on the other hand, which are another really important thing birds need during molting, is fats. And fats are helping, giving them the energy to do the molting process, but also it's essential for feather coloration and development. So all around, the 2 big things that you need to be adding if you aren't already are more proteins and more fats to your bird's diet. Don't worry, we have it all figured out. I'll give you the tips and tricks to make sure that you're giving the birds the things that they need in the season that they need them. That's what we call being seasonally savvy. So what happens when they don't get that nutrition in their diet? Well, if they have a poor or low diet in fat and protein during molting season, a couple things can happen. All right, it can make improper coloration on feathers. Yes, fats in their diet determine how colorful they are. So it's really, really important that they have the right fat in their diet. It's also important that they have enough protein, because if they don't have enough protein, those feathers will develop improperly, meaning they can come out frayed, they can come out even curled, they can just overall a lacking of protein and fats in a bird's diet during molting season means they are going to have a harder time with flight and a harder time with insulation. And we know Chicago weathers are cold, so our birds need some insulation. They need to be flight ready to help with whether they're migrating out of town or maybe they're migrating to our area from further north. It's a big important thing. So let's talk about how we can add fats and proteins in their diet. Okay, now one way you can use regular seed, because some of our seed in fact does have a lot of proteins and fats in it. For example, our plus blends like No Mess Plus, Tree Nutty Plus, and Choice Plus all have an incredible amount of protein and fats in them. Plus blends usually have tree nuts, bark butter bits in them, and sometimes fruit in it. And all of those things are all going to provide fats and proteins. All right. Some other good blends that I would recommend would be our No Mess regular blend and Choice blend, because both of those have high sunflower seed count in the ingredients, but also they tend to have peanuts, and peanuts have high protein in it and high fat. So a really, really good thing to offer. In addition to seed, some other things I might recommend are adding peanuts to your seed setup, your food offerings. I would also highly recommend using Niger or Finch blend in sunflower chips, particularly for molting goldfinches. And then I also would recommend you add mealworms and or bark butter. Let's talk about bark butter real quick. So bark butter comes in 3 different ways. This is bark butter bits. This is bark butter cakes, so it's kind of in a suet cake form. And this is our spreadable bark butter. So all of these come in hot pepper, of course, to help deter the squirrels. But bark butter is essentially a suet. It's kind of a type of a suet. It is super packed in proteins and fats. So what I would highly recommend is trying to offer this in as many different ways as you can. All right. I also want to recommend super suet. Now, yes, we have some of the best suet here at Wild Birds Unlimited, but I'm telling you, super suet is the top notch of suet. It literally is the highest fat, highest protein on the market for suet. So the way that you can offer this is in many different ways, can really benefit birds. So let's talk about ways that you can offer it. All right, first, you might just want to offer it in a cup. And I like this cup feeder, so I'm going to show you this one real quick. It's stuck on my little cart here. Alrighty. So a cup feeder, kind of like this guy with a dome over it, would be perfect to offer bark butter bits in. And I'm not saying that this is going to hold a lot, but guess what? Bark butter bits are like kind of like treats to the birds. I sometimes call them the M&Ms for the birds. Because really, honestly, who doesn't like M&Ms? And your birds absolutely love them. Bark butter in general, the product, is loved by over 160 species of birds. So let me tell you, the birds sure love the M&Ms. They sure love the frosting, as I call it. Everyone loves the bark butter. But you can offer bark butter bits in a cup feeder like this. It's a really great way to offer it to many different birds. You could also offer it in a tray, kind of like this one. I really like this feeder. This is our new Good Evening Cardinal feeder. And it is like a tray style feeder. And you could put bark butter bits, mealworms, peanuts, some seed in there. It's going to be a great way to offer birds those fats and proteins that they really, really need this time of year. Another way is just a plain straight tray. Right? This is one of my favorite combinations. I love this color combination. Our blue weather guard with the featherweight tray. It's like chef's kiss, right? I love this color combination. But a tray like this will easily be able to hold a really nice blend of seed, a cup of seed, some bark butter bits. Another way to use bark butter, or rather even suet cakes from the traditional suet cake holder. Maybe it's a suet cage or the tail prop feeder, which is great for birds that can cling. But what about the birds that can't cling? Have you ever seen a cardinal clinging from your suet cage feeder? I know that it's possible, but I don't really see it. So what I would recommend to offer either bark butter or super suet to my cardinals is, if I'm not already offering it, which I usually am, bark butter in my seed, I like to put bark butter or suet cake right in the tray. Make your charcuterie board, okay? It's not only fun, but the birds will surely love you for all the effort that you're putting into making sure that they are getting everything that they need this season. Okay, so by offering it fats and proteins in different and variety of ways, you're going to attract more birds, and more birds are going to find their needs met at your feeders. Okay, so not all birds can cling, but many birds can come to a nice tray feeder that they can sit and hop in and take what they need. So it's another great way to offer different bark butter, different ways to offer different foods by using a tray feeder, right? Now, when it comes to spreadable bark butter, where's my spreadable bark butter? Oh, right here. My frosting, as I call it, the bird frosting. This stuff is like a spreadable suet, so it's a little bit more pliable, different ways to use it. I like to spread it on my trees, but you could also use one of our many different feeders that you can load up on here and spread it out there if you don't have any trees, or if you have small trees or don't want them to come to the trees at all. There's different ways that you can provide bark butter in different options. I also use my spreadable bark butter on my seed cylinders, and I frost my cakes. Okay, I frost my seed cylinders with bark butter frosting, and I'm telling you, they cannot resist it. Absolutely unresistible. And especially right now, because all of your birds most likely are molting this month. So this, if nothing else, for the rest of this month, make sure that you're adding high protein, high fat foods. Your birds sure do need it. All right. If you don't want to offer it in a cup or a tray style, some other ways that you can offer bark butter bits or bark butter products, particularly bark butter bits, because I think it's one of the easiest ways to incorporate a new product into something that you're already doing, is these work wonderful additions to loose seed. So if you currently use loose seed in a tube feeder or a hopper feeder, or however you're using your loose seed, you could just add some bark butter bits to that cup of seed that you're going to pour into your feeder, and you're going to slowly at a time offer those high fat, high protein foods to your birds. So that's a great way to offer them too. So just be mindful that the birds are looking for this stuff. Are you going to be their hero? Can birds rely on you? I know that you love your birds, and I'm sure that you're going to provide everything that they need this molting season to make sure that they can complete it quickly and healthily, be healthy, do a good molt so that they are in top flight condition, looking stunning in their new coloration, and are going to be flight and insulated for winter. Okay, one last thing before we get out of here, because I'm doing a short one today, I want to mention this other bin here that we have, because this bin is full of deals. If you ever ask me, when does my seed go on sale? Yes, I know we have seed that goes on sale regularly throughout the year, but in this 3-tier bin, you will find all sorts of things that are discounted from, these are slightly damaged safflower cakes that came in. They came in a little bit not so hot, so we're discounting them for you guys. Down here we also have spring seed wreaths, and down here at the very bottom here we have our sunflower chips are 20% off. So while it lasts, come and grab it. It's only here for a little bit of time. Now, the reason why I'm getting off a little bit earlier tonight, but also the reason why I started late, is because I was preparing for an outside event. We are going to be at the Plum Creek Nature Center's Festival of Arts event. It's in Beecher, Illinois, but they are going to have lots of activities and things to do over there. We are preparing to be a vendor, one of their vendors for this event. So that's what I'm up to today, and that's what I'll be up to tomorrow. So if you are in that area and you would like to swing by and say hi, definitely stop by our tent and say hi and come by for some goodies that we will be offering. All right, you guys have a wonderful, fabulous Friday and a wonderful weekend. I do hope you are enjoying your birds, and let us know in the comments what birds you are seeing. We always love to hear what birds you are seeing in your backyards and what birds you are finding joy in. I hope that your hummingbird action has peaked and you're enjoying them as much as we are here at the store. All right, we will see you next week, next Friday around 5:30 to tell you what's new and happening in the store and what's new in nature. All right, guys, we'll see you next time. Bye now.